In this video I'm going to demonstrate one of the latest features, which is the drive line, which is this orange line, and how you can place timing gates on it, in particular for rFactor. Timing gates are also used in Richard Burns Rally, but for this one I'm going to focus on what you need to do to get it working in rFactor well. As you come into the driveline window, it appends the first track there. If you had a number of open tracks, you could append one after the other, and then the driveline would continue along, and you could place the timing gates along the line. The end timing gate isn't applicable to rFactor, so I'll just turn that off. The finish is actually the start finish line. I'll leave that roughly where it is, and the start I'll just pull back here somewhere. Now the pit in and pit out ones, let's see if I can grab those. When they're created, they may be underneath the terrain, so just try and grab those. Once you start moving these around, because they're manually placed, they just sit on top of the terrain. They don't need to follow the drive line, so you just need to move those about, and you may need to rotate so that it sits properly, and pull it in so that it's not covering the track there. With the start finish line, you need that to cover your pit lane as well, otherwise you won't tick off laps, and then you pit out, and it just needs to be positioned right. Once you've got that set, the other things you may want to adjust are the checkpoints. Currently they're sitting at 1/3 of the way around that drive line, and I'm happy enough to leave them there. You can move them around just as you do any other one, but I'll leave it as is, and we'll export that and see how we go. The export has a new function which is handy if you're adjusting your skyboxes, if you've got custom skyboxes. The one I include now with Bob's Track Builder is built by Crunch, and he's done a great job in getting it to move and flow with the track as you drive around, so I don't have so much problems with the skybox in rFactor anymore. For compatibility, you can use the first node. That's what I always did, and that plonked the first node of your track underneath 0,0,0. Really only applies to those people adding their own objects to the track afterwards, so that you'll keep it compatible. Otherwise you may want to use one of these other options. If you're not into adding your own objects or adjusting skyboxes, then just leave it as default. We'll export that, and then we'll go do a lap. Or two. The AIW that's created, this is the file that determines your drive line around the track, so we don't get any wrong way messages anymore. That's also used to tell the computer cars where to drive, but I don't actually program any of that, so you will want to use rFactor's or ISI's AIW editor. Hit the forums if you're doing that sort of stuff. There's lots of stuff they include, and I just don't want to spend time trying to emulate what they already do pretty well. I'd rather be adding more features in a Bob's Track Builder that they don't have in an AIW editor. You'll notice that the clock's already running, and that's because the starting position we moved back before the start finish line, and then we'll be going through one of the checkpoints right there, and we'll continue along carefully, and we should get the other checkpoint up around this corner, I believe. Yep, and we've moved into sector 3 now. We're not getting the splits because you won't get those until your next lap. As you can see, I like tracks with a bit of height variation. And that's about it.